The moment you got your PhD along with your funding in Linkoping, how did you feel?
I was surprised when I got my PhD. Because there were around 180 applicants who applied for the position in Sweden, and it was pretty much difficult. Ended up getting a research engineer job at the Umeå University, and then I contacted the professor again, the Italian professor, and he was actually really happy, and he actually suggested me to the professor there in Umeå as well. And yeah, I think I'm kind of blessed with good people around me, so they were really kind enough to direct me to choose my journey here. People just say AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, it's like most commonly used words, but you need to know what is the trend, what's the current trend that's going around the world, what is the need at each companies, like what kind of research they are looking for. So try to think around those aspects and just not blindly go to and fall in this AI trap. So you will be doing like a 15 to 20 minute seminar before the professor, so the teaching assistant, and they will ask you questions. And if you answered them well, and if you did a really good job in your seminar, then they will provide you grades based on that, and they will give you opportunity. For example, so if they have graded you 4, they will tell you like, I have graded you 4 for your seminar. Do you think it is okay for you, or do you like get a higher grade like 5? And then in that case, you need to explain to them why you do. So people who do part-time, some people actually extend their master, so they couldn't find time to finish it within 2 years, so they kind of extend their master for like another 3 or 6 months. So I would actually recommend people not to focus on part-times and try to like finish your degree and get a job, and you can definitely earn that money in a year or 2, so you don't worry about that.
Hello everybody, welcome all of you. My name is Shivaraman, Director of Europe Study Center. Today we are going to interview our student Nitesh, who studied in Sweden and then worked and then currently now doing his PhD. So Nitesh, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure is mine.
Thank you so much. So kindly Nitesh, introduce yourself to our audience.
So yeah, I'm Nitesh. I'm actually from Tiruchirappalli, India. I did my bachelor's in Vellore Institute of Technology in Vellore, and I was looking for opportunities abroad. And I think through Europe Study Center, I chose Sweden as one of the nations to do my master's there. And then I came to Sweden in 2019 at Uppsala University, where I did my master's in computer science. And I took like a year and a half for a research-oriented job. And then I got my PhD now, which I'm currently doing in Generative AI, specifically in controllable image generation in diffusion models.
Wonderful. So it's going to be very, a technical interview, I guess so. But I am a layman when it comes to computer science. But as I was telling you in the pre-talk before this interview, Nitesh, there is a lot of ambiguity when it comes to the computer science. Students are blindly selecting this course. As you know, 95% of engineering students passing out in Tamil Nadu, approximately, I would say 90% are only from the computer science department. So they are choosing this. If they like it, if they don't like it also, they are choosing these courses. So I believe this interview is going to throw a lot of light, which we will come to it. So to start with, you would have had a lot of study abroad country options basically. Any specific reason to choose Sweden, meaning in European country? Anything specific?
I spoke with one of the counselors in ESC. I think her name is Aranya. I spoke along with my parents, and then we were looking for options abroad. The thing is, like, I actually wanted to do in US or Australia, but it wasn't within my budget. It was way out. So I thought maybe we should try some other place where it's better, as well as it's like cost efficient as well to do a master's. And then I think Saranya came up with 4 options for me. One was Polimi in Italy, and the other one was TU Delft in Netherlands. And I think 4 universities in Sweden. That was the third choice, and then there was I think one university from Germany as well. And yeah, again I went back home. I spoke with my parents, and then we felt like Sweden is a better place. So we did some research as well, like about the country, about the companies in Sweden, and yeah, the job opportunities as well. And we felt like Sweden is a better option for me. So I think that's how I ended up in Sweden.
Wonderful, wonderful. So this is also our mantra, Nitesh. Spend less, learn more. Even though Sweden is comparatively higher compared to the tuition fees in other European countries, but still it's highly cost effective without compromising the quality. I liked what you said. I want to. It has to be cost effective without affecting the quality, because compromising the quality and reducing the cost is of no point, right? It's of no logic. So then, what all universities you applied? How happy you were when you got this Uppsala letter?
Yes, the thing is, I applied for computer science program in almost all the 4 universities. I think my priority was like Uppsala, KTH, Chalmers, and Linköping. And yeah, I think I got Uppsala, so which was in my top of the priority list. And life in Uppsala was so good. It's a beautiful town. It's there is a river called Ferries, so which kind of splits the town into two. And it's one of the ancient cities as well in the entire Scandinavia, and also one of the oldest university in Europe. And yeah, it was pretty good, the life there.
When I visited Uppsala in the year of 2007, I guess, at that time there was no Google Maps or nothing. So I had to ask somebody where to go. I was asking them, where is Uppsala University? Then the old man was like, the entire city is a university. Tell us which department you want to go, meaning it's that big.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually true, because it's not like how in India where you have a particular region where all the buildings, your campuses basically. But in Uppsala, the campus is basically scattered around the entire city. So you can find like a random building, and people will say it's part of the Uppsala University building. So I can clearly get it.
Yeah, wonderful. And also, one important parameter, once you said the universities that we shortlisted for you, if you look at the universities' names, it's the number one in Italy, number one in Netherlands, and the top universities in Sweden. It makes the life of a student much easier, which you would completely agree right now. Without your permission, also, I can say, when we study in top universities, put in all our efforts, all the doors towards bigger opportunities open.
Yeah, the thing is, like, most of the really good researchers around the world are usually in the top university, and these researchers have like really good contacts with the companies as well as other university. So if you spend some time with them, there is a lot of possibility that you can get into like really good jobs as well as really good research roles.
Wonderful, wonderful. And this one parameter alone, Nitish, I constantly follow. Whichever country, as long as it is in Schengen, it's the number one, number two in the country. I don't think much. I can blindly jump into it. No big things.
It's also one of the safest place as well in the Europe. I can say that. So people don't need to worry about safety, because that was one of the concerns when I started to go abroad. When I thought I should go Australia, my parents are a bit doubtful, because Australia had a history with racism, or so they were like, no, let's not go to Australia. Let's try some other place. So I think when it comes to safety, it's a really good country.
Yes. On top of it, we should go to countries where they welcome foreigners.
Yeah, true.
That is very important. Where they are accommodative. When you are not welcomed, however hard you work, the doors are still going to be open. For us to make it open, it's much more challenging, which we don't have to go through all those things, because studies itself is a challenging thing. So on top of it, we should not add any more challenges. So coming to that, you did your master's in Sweden at Uppsala University.
Yes.
So currently you are into research. What this Swedish education gave to you basically?
The one thing is it was totally different to what I did in VIT. The education there and here are like totally different when it comes to learning perspective. I think each semester they split into like two halves here, and then like you take courses on these two halves, and all the courses you attend like seminars. There isn't like direct teaching, so it's more like seminars there, and you are also allowed to do seminars as well as part of your assignments in some cases. So it was more like it's hands-on learning, I would say, in Sweden. That kind of lacked in some of the Indian universities. And my journey to research actually started during my master thesis. So I did it under an Italian professor in Uppsala, and it was more into the AI side, my project, and he was more welcoming because he worked more on the social networking aspects with AI, and so he kind of recruited me for the master thesis, and he was really satisfied with my thesis, and he said like, you should probably apply for a research role. He even provided some suggestions for me, but unfortunately it didn't work out for us. So I had to like look for other research role in Sweden, and I ended up getting a research engineer job at the Umeå University. And then I contacted the professor again, the Italian professor, and he was actually really happy, and he actually suggested me to the professor there in Umeå as well. And yeah, I think I'm kind of blessed with good people around me, so they were really kind enough to direct me to choose my journey here.
They were good to you, they were kind to you, they were guiding you because Nitesh, you were also putting in all the efforts, you know?
Yeah.
Because I've seen plenty of professors who will not even listen to any of the request from the student if they are not focused. If they don't do their tasks on time, they just ignore it. So it's like hand in hand, it's mutual. So what exactly is the master program you studied in Uppsala University, Sweden?
It was science in general, so it was in AI or machine learning field. It was mostly on computer science. So I had the opportunity to select courses that are in AI and that are in software engineering and other criterias. And like when I studied AI courses, I kind of felt like this is my cup of tea. So I started to pursue courses that are related to machine learning and AI. And also it was a boom during that time where like people were started working more on the artificial intelligence side around the world. So it was also helpful as well to select those choices. Yes, I think that like I did computer science degree, but my specialization is more on the AI and machine learning side.
Wonderful. We'll come to this AI aspect because many students want to know a lot of things about that. So then, how challenging was it for you, especially in the first semester, coming from a theoretical background to completely shifting to a practical background?
Uh, it was quite new because I didn't have much experience. I think in VIT we also had practical background, so it wasn't much harder for me. But there were students as well from other university who came from India who came to Uppsala University along with me, and they also felt a bit of a struggle initially because it was a totally different education system, a way that is followed in Sweden and one in India, and it took some time for them to adapt. At least like first 6 months, they took some time to adapt. I think once they adapted, I think it was more of a day-to-day routine for them. So I don't think they face much problems after that.
Exactly. That's why everybody says, right? You know, Indian students are very adaptive as long as they
Yes,
are
true.
interested and they are focused. Adapting to any new
And
challenges
also
is not
the
a
intensity is not that much, I would say. I think in Indian university you have like so many exams, you have assignments, and there it was like really intense. Like there was a time where I took like 6 or 7 courses in one semester, so it was pretty much intense. It was more like 27 credits in one semester, and it was really intense. But it's not the case in in Sweden. So there you can take like around 25 credits here as well for a semester, but the intensity is not that when compared to the to India in universities.
So in your journey, especially when you're studying a very challenging course like computer science, whichever specialization it is, so how helpful were your professors in your journey?
Uh, I never had an opportunity to thank them because they were really supportive, even in my home university Bangalore, and as well as in Uppsala University. Like whenever I find whenever I have a question like what I should do next, I usually speak with the professor around me, and they always provided me with wise choices. They even gave me like recommendation letters for to apply for universities in Sweden, for example. So it was pretty helpful as well. And yeah, and also the professors in Sweden helped me a lot, especially in getting this PhD position. So my supervisor was, she actually recommended me to this professor who I'm working right now for my PhD. So um, yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. And also, many students would like to know what sort of examination pattern or how do they assess, you know, uh, you guys during the examination. This question also many parents and students ask us. So, if you could enlighten us, how a typical student studying computer science would be evaluated, kindly let us know. Enlighten.
The evaluation actually it kind of varies from masters and the PhD, but I'll start from masters initially. So for the masters, you take a course, you have some assignments to do. So so you have grades for that, and it's not like the ranking system in India. So they don't score you like 10 or 10 out of 10 or 100 out of 100. They don't score you in that pattern. It's mostly like pass or fail. So you do an assignment, you pass the assignment or you fail the assignment, and it's the same for well. So you do a project, you can do it alone or you can do it with the other students, and yeah, that's the same pattern for project as well. And for the examination, there are two ways they do it. One is like the written exam. So that basically they grade it for like 3, 4, and 5. So there are like three system for grading here. 3 is like you pass the exam. 4 is like you pass with a good grade, and 5 is like you pass with like distinction or something like that. So you have like 3 grades for examination, and the other exam is you will be doing like a 15 to 20 minute seminar before the professors or the teaching assistant, and they will ask you questions. And if you answered them well, and if you did a really good job in your seminar, then they will provide you grades based on that, and they will give you opportunity. For example, so if they have graded you 4, they will tell you like, I have graded you 4 for your seminar. Do you think it is okay for you, or do you get a higher grade like 5? And then in that case, you need to explain to them why you deserve that 5 grade.
Super. I'm just getting nostalgic because I also did all these things. When you said grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, I think about my days in Sweden, the university where you are currently doing your PhD. So before we get into the PhD topics, people, this question is also commonly asked. What is the tuition fees that you spent at Uppsala University and your approximate total living expenses per month that you spent in Uppsala during your masters?
That's actually a great question, especially for aspiring students who wants to do like their masters in Sweden. So I think during my time, it was somewhere around 75,000 Swedish crowns or one semester, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, correct.
And you do for like 4 semesters basically. And luckily I had a scholarship in my second year, thanks to COVID. So they had this COVID scholarship because most of the teaching happened online. So they wanted to and then I kind of applied for the scholarship, and I think they evaluated based on my grades, and it was helpful as well. They gave me around 25%. So mm, I can save a few money from my tuition fee during the time. But the usual fee is around 25,000 per semester. And the cost of living is pretty high. Although we're in Scandinavia, it's not like the other countries in Europe. It's pretty much high. I think the rent costed me around 4,400 Swedish crowns when I did my master's at Uppsala. And the other aspects is basically how you are spending your money. So I spent like pretty much less on food because I didn't want to like be a burden to my parents, and I also didn't do part times because part
No
times
time. No
they didn't
time.
pay you much,
Plus
no
no
time
time also.
as well, and they don't pay
Exactly.
you much.
Exactly. When I studied energy environmental engineering, which when you compare it with intensity of the course that you studied, it's much lesser. When I don't have any time, during my study days, the same applies to you. Literally no time. That is why, Nitesh, any young aspirant walking into our office, we always tell them, forget about all these chota mota jobs, study, sit, focus, all the doors towards greater opportunities open. So then,
Yeah, exactly. And this is also the one that the counselor in Trichy also told me because I was asking for part-time opportunities in Sweden, and she was like, "That's not the aim. You're going to Sweden because you want to get a degree there. So try to focus on that. You can always earn money later."
exactly. So when you hear all these things, Nitesh, at the age of 20, 21, it kind of sits on you, right? Okay, they are telling this for our good. Then that's what I tell students. What do I get to my pocket by telling, please don't do part-time jobs? I get nothing. But I know as a student who studied abroad, especially in Sweden, doing part-time and finishing the degree on time is like absolute zero combination. Yeah.
And also there is, I think, a correlation as well. People who do part-time, some people, they actually extend their master. So they couldn't find time to finish it within 2 years. So they kind of extend their master for like another 3 or 6 months. So I would actually recommend people not to focus on part-times and try to like finish your degree and get a job. And you can definitely earn that money in a year or two. So you don't worry about that.
Exactly, brother. That is what we keep telling. And those people who don't complete the degree on time, you know what they say? We should have not come to this country. These professors are not clearing my subjects. The subjects are very difficult. They don't put marks for our, what to say, our region and all those things. When people come up with all those stories, I don't even listen. Please don't waste my time. Let's look at solutions. You can complain the whole day without any sort of a change. So, what was your final year project that you did? What was the title?
It was more on visual analysis on YouTube video. So what I basically did, like my professor had like a huge data of YouTube video. He converted into like image frames, and basically what I did was I tried to analyze like feature that kind of affects the climate change that are appearing in this image, so that it's part of the political science project. So the aim was to to analyze how much awareness people have, like watching YouTube video. They are like climatically aware of what the things that they are doing is kind of like affecting the environment, and how many videos actually shows these elements, like for example melting of ice in Sweden, or like in any cold countries, and things like global warming. And yeah, so but I only did like a part of the project. So basically I tried to analyze like polar bears or penguins and in these image frames basically.
Very, very interesting topic. So, one important question which I wanted to ask you, which I got it in my mind long back before this interview. Nowadays in India or elsewhere, people are studying artificial intelligence as a course, bachelor degree itself in artificial intelligence. As a layman, when it comes to computer science, meaning I'm talking about me, okay? So there are different generations of AI, right? So currently, what is the AI which is being used, and what will be the future generations when it comes to the AI? For the students to prepare, it's much easier.
I think right now Gen AI is in a boom.
Generative AI, right?
Yeah, generative AI is in a boom. So I would actually recommend people do that. So basically what is like, you can split the AI era into two, like the era before Transformers and the era after Transformers. So Transformer is like the basic building block for all the language models that we use, for example, ChatGPT. So if you dig deep down, like you'll find a transformer block that was like built, like thousands of these transformer blocks were built around to like make those models. So after the invention of transformer, you have like a really good boom in generative AI. And the next phase is mostly multimodal AI, they are saying. So right now what the AI models are doing is like if you provide text, you will only generate like a text. If you provide like image, you will generate like image. What if I provide like a prompt and I can generate like a text, image, videos, and whatever data as the output? So that's like multimodal, which is currently happening as well. So it will be going further along, and I think the end, like people are also started to think around artificial general intelligence, which will take a long years to go from now on. It's basically like a machine can think on its own and work on its own. You don't need to be around, like helping the machine to do it. So that's the ideal goal. But I think for that to achieve, it's like a long way back, long way further.
Super. So, what was the generation? Currently, you said we are using generative AI, Gen AI. What was the generation before this AI? Before Gen AI, what is that?
Sure, because I only like started after this Gen AI boom, and my research is mostly on the Gen AI side. Uh, but yeah, I think they were still working on the convolutional neural network side. Every year, it kind of you have a new development in AI, so it's not going to be constant. So every year you have like a state of the art machine. So before it was more, I think it started initially with like linear neural network, which we call like MLP, multi-layer perceptron. And then from there you have this convolutional neural network, which can like really work really good with image-based data. And then from convolutional neural networks, we have the transformer. So it just keep on going.
Wonderful.
But the history of AI actually started in like 1930s, I guess. The Turing machine was the first AI based model,
Yeah. On top of it,
and it was also active during the 80s and 90s. Uh, that's when they built the I think the first CNN was built around this time. But the problems, yeah, they had the methods, but they don't have the computation to do it. So they didn't have a really good GPU during that time, so they couldn't proceed these ideas. So that was the problem where the AI was like stagnant for so. And when we started to like create these really good GPUs, there was like a really high hike in AI because they had a lot of methods which they would like to try before, but they couldn't do it. But now, since with the computation, they can like work on that. So I think was the reason for the stagnation during like the
like the
2000s
2000
period,
period.
2010,
Yes,
2010.
I still remember, Nitesh. In the year of 2007, my first subject was neural networks connected with artificial intelligence. All these fundamentals. These terminologies I get to listen from the year of 2007. But whereas if you look at it here, meaning in our country, last 6-7 years only we talk about all those parameters. Why I'm specifying this right now is Scandinavia has jumped into this technology long back.
Yeah. I think this would be a right opportunity if I speak about WASP as well, because it kind of contradicts your statement. That's why. Because what happened was Sweden is like really good in predicting stuff, like predicting the future trends. But what happened was like they failed to predict the AI growth.
Okay.
So yeah, that happened, and that was the reason why they found this organization called WASP, which was fully funded by the Wallenberg Foundation, which is similar to the Tata groups in India, for example. And yeah, and the top CTOs in Sweden, they kind of they were the reason who made this organization. They felt like Swedish people are lagging in AI compared to the other people and other countrymen, and they started this AI like WASP. And I get my funding basically from my this WASP organization for my PhD. So I'm fully funded for 4 years.
So at least now they are catching up.
Yes. That was the idea of us, so that like They actually recruit around 600 PhDs, if you don't believe. 600 PhD students, including like 150 like industrial PhDs. And they recruit around 100 or 80 researchers around the world and within Sweden as well.
That's amazing. So it clearly shows, how much they are preparing themselves, their citizens for the future growth, right? They don't want the country to be left out. Any country which focuses on research, spends huge for this PhD funding and all those things, then they innovate, they bring up new technologies, and they sell that technology to the world, and they make money out of it. And we keep using those technologies, and by the time they move to the next version, it's many countries do the catch-up work, and in many platforms, not only AI. You take any particular technology, Europeans are like far ahead. One question which I wanted to ask you, Nitesh, from the starting of this interview, all the computer science students, 95%, I'm talking about my experience, okay? By the time they finish their degree, they obviously will have 3-4 offers on the table, most likely, okay? And they pick up something and they run far away from the university, okay? They start working. But in your case, I guess you always had the inclination and the motivation to do your research, right?
I mean, the decision to do PhD basically came from my decision to do masters. So yeah, it was the same process. Basically, at that time when I was doing my third year in bachelor's, I was fully focused on getting placed, to be honest. So I was applying in the fourth year. I was applying for a lot of companies. I was attending interviews. And that's one of the reasons why I couldn't find time to apply for universities abroad. And I came to Europe Study Center, and they helped them with my application process. So when I got the results, I was a bit doubtful, or I was a bit skeptical at that moment whether to choose like my master's or to go back and because I had a good offer as well in the job offer in India. And I think at that time my parents kind of pushed me.
I would also suggest everybody to do the same, because when you're young, okay, PhD is completely your personal choice. But I feel after a degree in India, one degree, whether you're employed or not, when the family's financial situation permits, I guess there should not be any sort of second thoughts to pack your bags and fly. This is what I personally believe. So you decided to do your
you actually made a good point there, mentioning like family's financial situation.
100%. For example, your parents were ready to support you for your studies in Sweden, which I said compared to all the other European countries, Sweden, Netherlands costs higher. But if you look at it's cheaper than studying in Chennai right now. They can do their bachelor's or master's in Europe. It's much more cost effective in a top ranked public university. So financial aspects are very, very important. And we always say, which we would have told you also, spend less, learn more, and don't trouble your parents much on the financial aspect. That's what we say. So, so during your master's also, you decided, no, I'm not going to stop my studies. It's a comma, not a full stop. I'm going to do my doctorate.
No, I think it was when I finished my master, it was during the COVID era. So the job markets were a bit, so there wasn't much application. So I was actually open whether to do like a research or job. I didn't choose like any directions. I was like pretty much open to the opportunities. But my professor, the Italian professor under whom I did my master's thesis, he kind of recommended me to take research-oriented work because he was a bit surprised since I only had like only 2 meetings with them during the entire master thesis. My half-time presentation and the other one was my full-time presentation after the introductory meeting that I had him. So I never contacted him with my supervision. Yes. Yeah. So I gave him the plan. I actually sent him a plan that I will be working on this aspect, and he was a bit surprised when I finished my thesis. He was like, I didn't expect you to like do it without my supervision. And he actually he recommended after that, like, probably you should take like a research career that kind of suits your role.
I'm just recollecting how many times I met my professor during my master thesis. At least 20-25 easily. 10 times more than you. Please continue.
Now he was actually I think he was. I think right now he's like what you call the director of a department in Uppsala University. So he was pretty busy professor there. And he had like a lot of PhD students as well and master thesis students that he was supervising. So yeah, I can understand that, but yeah, I didn't blame him for that because he gave me an opportunity and the freedom as well to work on the methods that I think that I need to work on. So I was really happy with that. So we didn't have any issues, and he was also pretty much happy with the results. So it was like a win-win situation for both of us.
Yeah, if the results are not satisfactory, he would have asked you to rework it or tweak it.
Yeah, that
Which I have,
kind of
which
happens as well. I have seen students who like kind of redo their thesis.
I've
So
heard these
it is a
stories.
possibility.
Yeah, I've heard these stories 500, 600 times where they have tweaked their master thesis and then submitted. It's double the process. So the moment you got your PhD along with your funding in Linkoping, how did you feel?
I was surprised when I got my PhD. Yeah, because there were around 180 applicants who applied for the position in Sweden, and it was pretty much difficult to get that position. And even the thing is that I chose this research group. It was not like they chose me for. I wanted to work with this research group because I felt like they do research that are more of interest to me. So basically, I set my mind that if I'm gonna do a PhD, I'd rather do it in this group.
Okay.
And that's what I actually said in the interview as well. The professor asked me like, now my supervisor right now asked me like, do you have any backup plans if you don't get the position? And I was like, no backup plan. Actually wanted to work with you. And if I couldn't get it now, I'll probably apply in a year or two because you will still be like posting PhD applications. So I'll wait and I'll apply for a year or two. And he was satisfied with my overall results. So he kind of accepted me along with one more student. So we were like two students from like 180 applications.
So I guess like you went all out on this. Whatever it takes, I'm going to grab this with both of my hands. I guess that's also a reason why they kind of selected with you, basically. Congratulations. So what is the title of your your PhD topic?
It's more on the generative AI side. Right now I'm working on controllable image generation in diffusion model. That's the title of my thesis. The thing is like in PhD, you can like update your study plan. So you have this thing called individual study plan. So you define a topic, but you can also deviate from the topic. So it's not the necessity that you need to work on like only one topic. And you have like 4 years. So you if with your permission of supervisor, you have the freedom to work on different aspects. But the thing for me is like I should be working under Gen AI and more on the synthetic image generation pipeline. So I am also allowed to like choose within these aspects. So I actually chose this controllable image generation pipeline for diffusion model. So basically, one overall idea, you have like a text image model, for example, like even you can take like ChatGPT or because it uses DALI to generate text to image. So you can ask the model to like generate an image based on some prompts. The thing is like you can still generate those image without this prompt because for training such models you need to do a lot of annotation. So you need to collect a lot of images and you need to annotate these images with the particular prompt. So this is like really time consuming as well as like cost expensive. So what I'm trying to do is like I'm trying to do like more image based generation, for example. So if you collect image and I'd like to try to generate images that look similar to the ones that are in these instead of like having a prompt. So basically, I work on the latent space of this diffusion model to generate these images. I don't want to go in detail because like it might be a bit overdue. So yeah, you can always like feel free to reach me out in LinkedIn. I can explain the project.
I'm sure many kids will reach out to you and ask all these questions because many people, they have their questions in mind. They don't know whom to reach out. And that's also a whole objective of doing these interviews. As Nitesh, you would have seen, we don't talk nothing more than 10 or 15 seconds about Europe Study Center. Okay, it's all about Sweden. It's all about Uppsala. The challenges Nitesh faced, how he overcome that and how he secured his PhD. What is his topic right now? That's the whole agenda of doing these interviews. That is that is how it is. So it is the PhD is in Linkoping and funded by your institution.
Funded by this organization called WASP. So I get the funding for 4 years through this WASP organization, and I get 1 more year additional funding from my university if I do teaching. So I need to do like teaching, like seminars, lectures, and things like that. If I do that, and if I participate in the division and the department activities, then I get like 1 more year. So you
So you're
can
doing it
do
actually?
it for 5 years. You can
You're
also
doing
do
it
it
actually?
within 4 years. So
You're doing it actually?
I think right now I'm doing it for 5 years, but I'm planning to complete within 4 years. So I don't want to extend it for another year.
Super. I'm not sure. Does Sweden still have the rule of those who completing PhD, they give the permanent residency?
Now, so I get like resident permit for 4 years.
No, I mean after your PhD. I mean after your PhD.
After your PhD, you need to find a job. If you find a job, then you get PR.
Okay. I'm not sure. Maybe my days they were like by default they give a PR after your PhD because they wanted to retain the talent. I may be wrong also. They did this.
I think
That's not.
it used to be like that, but I think they changed this immigration policy like every year, and there was also a change in the government, so they are making it a bit harder now with the immigration policies.
Super wonderful. One important question which I wanted to ask you was, how is the work-life balance? Because I know I have a lot of friends who did their PhDs, so I know like how stressful it is. How do you manage? How it is the work-life balance for a PhD student in Scandinavia?
I mean, if you want an honest answer, I would say no work-life balance for PhDs. But for employment, you have but in general, you have a criteria called like 40 hours per week. So that's the maximum you're allowed to work. And neither your supervisor nor your project manager can ask you to like work more than that. So the laws are a bit strict here. So you can work like 40 hours a week, and usually the weekends or off days, like vacation days. So that's the thing overall in Sweden. But I think for PhDs, you never know because you are allowed to work on a lot of stuff. So the 40-hour limit is not like feasible for me, at least, to work for like a week. So I probably sometimes I work on Saturdays as well. Because you need to do a lot of reading and you need to do like a lot of writing as well, the papers, and you also need to do some experiments. So it's a lot of work. So sometimes I work over one, but which I'm not supposed to do. So, but in general, for 40 hours per week, sir.
But I guess you enjoy what you're doing, right? Otherwise, I don't think PhD is just possible. Even at the master level, only when we enjoy and study, it happens. And it comes to PhD, it's like 3-fold times more. So, how important is the student's interest for a PhD? Kindly enlighten this because many people have a wrong conception about PhDs. So that's why I'm asking you this one.
I think it depends on like where the student is from. For example, if they are like Swedish students, I don't think they would go for PhD. I mean, they would go, but I don't think there is like a huge number of people who wanted to apply for PhD because it's not well paid. For example, because if you do a master's and you get a job, you have like really good salary. So people they usually don't take this path. Unless or until they really wanted to do research. So that's how it is in Sweden. But the opportunities are like really high for research. Like a month back, my supervisor actually posted a position, like he was looking for a candidate, PhD candidate. I think the deadline just crossed like a week ago. So yeah, so the opportunities are there. But the applicant it's mostly from like abroad, like outside Sweden. Yeah, the applicants are mostly from outside Sweden, especially from India, Iran, China.
Yeah, China. These 3 areas. One thing I like about it is, the European PhDs are funded.
Yeah. They don't call it like scholarship here. They call it like funding. So basically, they pay like a salary, which is like on
Salary, yes.
which is like on the average of a Swedish salary range. So they pay you like average salary of a Swedish citizen here, basically for your PhDs.
Because I get a lot of calls. People get a PhD admission in UK or Ireland, and I ask them, is it with funding or without funding? No, sir, funding is not there. We have to pay fees. Then I said, you pay and study. It's not PhD. It's we have to get funded. Yeah, exactly. It's like PhD is like a job, whether it's small or big, you should get paid. That's how it is. So right now your focus is to finish up all these things within 4 years and move further from there, right?
Yes, the thing is, my parents want me closer to them because they feel like I'm a bit far away. And it takes like roughly 24 hours of travel if I go to Trichy because I need to take like 3 flights. So they all feel like I'm a bit far away from them since I'm like the only child.
Oh, okay.
So they want me close to them. But yeah, I haven't decided what I will be doing after 4 years. But the idea is to finish my PhD and will look for opportunities after that. So I haven't decided right now.
I hope your parents don't blame Europe Study Center.
I don't think so. I mean, my mother was the one who found ESC because I didn't have the knowledge about the ESC before. And I think she saw one of your live interviews. Was it in Pudi Talamurai channel? Yeah.
Yeah. So, a lot of news channels during those days before COVID.
There was, I think it was in one of this news channel, and like my mother was the first one to see this, and she told me that you can study like in Europe for free, and I was like, no, you're joking. I didn't take it serious. So I was like, no, you're just joking.
Nowadays,
I think only in Germany it's possible because I know about Germany, but I wasn't sure about other universities.
Yeah, nowadays it's in Germany, Belgium, Austria, Luxembourg, some French universities, and few Central European countries. Nowadays, the free education options are getting higher because some universities, they mail us, they have a lot of funding. So they want to waive off the tuition fee. Super, right? So nice.
Yes,
and
true.
when I pick up some offer letter, for me to give an offer letter to a child, spend 80 lakhs, 90 lakhs, I just cannot do it. When is he going to repay the education loan? People are selling their properties and going abroad. I feel like I don't want to be a part of this mess. And later he will regret, right? Why couldn't Europe Study Center tell me this is all not required? So I just stick to this European countries basically. Wonderful. It was really insightful. We spoke a lot of tech aspects, personal aspects, how focused you are, and to currently you are in the Linkoping building or you are in the VASP building. Where are you?
It's in the Linkoping University building.
Okay. So which building you are in there? Because since I studied there, I'm just curious to know. That's all.
I think you must be in Campus Wala, if I'm not wrong, because my campus is in Norrköping.
During those days itself, Nitesh, during those days, I'm talking about 2007. Okay, they used to have a course in Masters in Computer Graphics, which is only conducted in Norrköping.
Yeah, that the professor is actually my supervisor.
Wow, amazing.
I think was it like Jonas?
No, I don't belong to that department, but I have a lot of friends who studied that course. So when we have to travel from Linkoping to Norrköping, we take a beautiful bus ride, the university bus, which comes once an hour. It's still the same?
Yeah, it's still the same.
And there is a nice football court opposite to the hostel. So we used to see some matches there.
In Linkoping or in
Norrköping.
Oh yeah, there is a football stadium nearby.
Yes. And then for all the migration activities, we still have to come to Norrköping, not Linkoping.
Yeah, I think it's next to where I live, the office. So.
Okay, super. Wonderful, Nitesh. Thank you so much. Even though I know you have a lot of works, you took time out to share your experience with us. And I'm sure, even this interview motivates or guides few bunch of students. They all are going to thank you. And Nitesh, people should understand, and now people watching this interview, a student doing his PhD and to find time to do anything extra, it is a lot of effort. So thank you so much, Nitesh. Before we conclude this beautiful yeah, please.
Yes, the pleasure is mine, but I would like to also give like one advice to students, uh, because I also faced the same problem when I came to do my masters, because I don't want to be a burden to my family, because you need to spend like some cases you need to spend some money for education, like in a country like Sweden. But I think it was a good choice. It turned out to be a good choice at the end. So like I would say, like if you can spend money like for education in Sweden, I recommend it. And I was also like chasing different universities, and one of my friend told me like you will keep on chasing, you won't settle. So sometimes if you're making decisions about whether to choose this university or that university, or should I like wait for like few more years and apply for a different university, you need to think on that note as well. Like sometimes you need to settle for one university. So, and also feel free to reach out to me in LinkedIn. I will share it with sir here. So I'll share my LinkedIn. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to ESC or you can reach out to my LinkedIn. I'll try to help as much as possible.
Last thing, many students are currently studying artificial intelligence and computer science, data science, machine learning, etc., etc. Some nice words to them, what to focus on, what will be the future before we sum up this interview?
Do some research. That's what I would say. So people just say AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning. It's like most commonly used words, but you need to know what is the trend, what's the current trend that's going around the world, what is the need at each company, is like what kind of research they are looking for. So try to think around those aspects and just not blindly go to and fall in this AI trap. So because it's more like the CS wave that we spoke during our time. So it's something similar for AI as well, because it's like a really going trend right now, and many people wanted to study. But you also need to do some research, like what is the current trend and what you need to focus on.
Wonderful, wonderful, really insightful. Even I learned a lot of things, and after this interview, certain terminologies which you used, I'm going to browse and get myself updated, because for me also to discuss these aspects with the students will be much easier. Nitesh, thank you so much. When I visit Linkoping, surely I will take an appointment with you and come and meet you in your cabin for a coffee or something. That will be really nice.
I don't think you need an appointment. Just give me a call, sir.
No.
I'll
You're
be
busy
happy enough to receive.
You are busy, brother. I know what it takes to study a PhD. I have a lot of my friends who are doing it. So, sure. Thank you so much. And it was really insightful. And wish you all the best, and do convey our best regards to your parents. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Pleasure
Thank you.
is mine.
Thank you so much, Nitesh. Thank you.